You're listening to the Substation Gaming Podcast. I'm Black Chestnut. With me, I have Ricola.
Hi.
And today we're going to be talking about the state of play that happened last week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure was a Sony PlayStation state of play thing.
Yeah. One of those.
They're always kind of underwhelming. I don't think I've ever...
They really are.
They've gotten better, like, in terms of presentation.
They're very soulless and boring.
They're still, like, whatever, though.
Yeah. I don't know. It's always funny to me because I usually, like, they'll announce it and then you'll see, like, some people get hyped for it and then you'll see a lot more people be like, whatever. You know, because they expect that it's going to be mediocre, which it always is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, this one I feel like was decent.
It was
compared
fine.
to the rest.
Nothing great, but yeah, it was fine.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I kind of expected at least, like, playable games, considering that they said it was going to be focused on Japanese titles. So I was like, okay, at least it's going to be made by people of competence. You know?
Right.
But, let's just get into it.
Sure.
The first game that they showed off was not Dino Crisis.
Yeah. Well, why is Capcom making a dinosaur game that isn't Dino Crisis?
It feels weird.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Instead of making Dino Crisis, they decided, let's make Left 4 Dead, but with Iron Man suits and dinosaurs instead of zombies.
Which I feel like should be way cooler than it actually looked.
Yeah.
I mean, it was hilarious just seeing portals open up and dinosaurs pouring out of it like water. That was hilarious, but...
Yeah, they made sure to get those dinosaur physics just right.
But, it just looked like video game.
Yeah, it kind of looked...
Looked like a fake video game.
Yeah, it did. It really did.
Like on a TV show, somebody played a game where you're fighting dinosaurs with robots. Like, that doesn't feel real.
It honestly does look like that. It looks like a fake video game that someone on, like, a TV show would be playing.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know. And they had cool abilities for your Iron Men.
Yeah.
For your mechs. There was a cast of characters.
You shot dinosaurs with space laser guns.
Yeah, which, I mean, I've done that before. I've played Turok.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't look terrible, but it also
it's nothing that's grabbing me.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way about almost everything in here, where it's just like, well, that looks fine, but I sure don't care. I felt like Sonic watching this the whole time. It's like, well, that's interesting, but I sure don't care.
Yeah, that's probably how I felt as well.
Yeah.
Just, these look bad. What else was there in this trailer?
That was about it.
What was it really that?
It was like a robot lady giving you the dinosaur weather forecast.
Yeah, that was odd. Like, the trailer ends with, like, what I assume is just, like, you walking in and doing a character customization thing.
Yeah.
Very odd.
I mean, like, and in some aspects, it reminded me of that one BioWare game that was total trash, but with dinosaurs.
Anthem?
Yeah, it reminded me of, like, Anthem, but with dinosaurs.
This combat looked more interesting than Anthem.
Oh, definitely. It looks way better than Anthem.
Yeah.
But, like, everybody knows Anthem's trash, so...
This had more going on than just, like, playing, like, shooting. Like, there's, like, abilities that you had. There was a bit more,
dinosaurs.
Like, one of the characters looks like they got, like, sword combos going on. There's stuff going on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just dinosaurs popping out of a portal. Like, that's it. That's the entire story, as it appears.
I kind of feel like that's something that would get boring quickly.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to play the combat to see if it's any fun.
Yeah.
Now, if they release like a good demo for this, that's what this needs to sell me.
I don't know. I kind of looked, kind of bland enough that I wouldn't even bother to try the demo. And it's like Capcom, but like Capcom's also like not always gonna hit.
They've been on a good streak the last couple of years, but before that they were in a pretty rough spot.
But that's mostly because they were like, okay, let's just make our mainline franchises and make sure they just make them how they should be and not fuck it up, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like, let's make sure that Resident Evil is a survival horror game. You know, let's make sure
that DMC isn't bad.
Yeah, let's make sure that DMC's good. Let's make sure that, Resident Evil's good. They stopped doing dumb shit like they were doing like 10 years ago with like DMC, Devil May Cry, and like
they turned themselves around pretty well.
Resident Evil, like what, 6 was it?
Yeah,
6 was a bad one.
6 is a terrible game, but I kind of have a soft spot for it after actually playing it.
6 isn't as bad as much as it was just a bad decision to make.
It's a terrible Resident Evil game.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest problem with 6 is that the budget was too high.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, it was pretty much like the death of the series.
Yeah.
Like, I'm amazed 7 happened. It was so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, Exoprimal. Who knows how this is going to turn out?
Yeah. I feel like it's.
I kind of appreciate the stupidity of the concept of just shoot dinosaurs a bit. This sounds like a PS2 game.
It does. It does feel like a PS2 game.
But it doesn't look as awesome as the other game later in here that also looks like a PS2. That also seems like a PS2 game, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'll talk about that when we get to it, though.
Oh, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
But, yeah.
I guess we can move on if you want.
Yeah.
Ghostwire
Tokyo.
Yeah.
This is coming out pretty soon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, is it this month? Or
you like clicking a lot.
March 25th. It's so crazy. Like, I still feel like I don't have a big picture of what this game is like. This trailer did give the best idea, though. It looks like first person. I don't know if I want to call it a first person shooter. It looks more. I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of like a first person shooter. But instead of guns, you have, hand signs.
Yeah. and apparently you have a literal Ghostwire. That title is literal.
That makes sense.
But
I don't know.
I like the monster designs a lot, honestly. Although sort of classic Japanese monster
I mentioned
stuff.
this before, but it kind of reminds me just like a first person, World of Horror, because they both are going for similar aesthetics and whatnot.
Yeah,
in terms of like their monster designs a bit.
Yeah, I still have a lot of traditional stuff, just it's kind of a bit more weird and distorted at the same time.
Yeah. I assuming that most of the ghosts in Ghostwire are just based off of, Japanese like yokai and whatnot.
Yeah, you got some Yureis. It looks like there's something inspired by like the Slit Mouth Woman.
Yeah.
You got all the classics. But at the same time, I can't get it. This gameplay just looks kind of just weird to me watching it. I can't get a handle on it.
I'm kind of like...
This looks slow.
The thing that concerns me, to be honest, about it is just I know that, like, in its development, they've switched a lot of creative leads throughout the project. So that kind of, like
multiple directors.
Red flag for me. It's just like you switching like directors and like stuff multiple times throughout a project. That's like a big red flag, Yeah,
it's not impossible for it to succeed after that, but at the same time, that's worrying. Yeah, I'm really curious what the heck is going on with this game's development, though, because I don't know, doesn't seem to have changed that much, like from when we first seen it. But
No. Yeah.
at the same time, it's always felt really vague for the trailers we've seen. Where just there are ghosts in Tokyo.
Yeah. You're ghost busting in Tokyo.
Yeah. Graphics look nice, I guess. Who's developing this again, actually?
I'm not sure. Some Japanese studio.
Yeah.
Do you want to just move on to the
Sure.
good stuff?
Sure. Yeah, the best game here.
Yeah. So we got like another trailer for Strangers of Paradise, the Final Fantasy 1 remake.
Yes, and the demo came out, which I have not played, but I've seen it.
Yeah,
It's
I haven't
beautiful.
played it either, just because I don't care, to be honest.
This game looks so awesome.
Like, I've kind of already decided. It's like, this is the game that I'm going to watch all the cutscenes on YouTube and then never touch the actual game.
See, this game feels like a PS2 game, like The Bouncer.
It
this
does.
Is beautiful.
Yes.
This game feels fake, but in a wonderful, good way.
It is screaming, like early to mid 2000s energy.
It's trying like way too hard to be cool, but in a way that's like really fun.
Yeah, dude literally pulls out his fucking iPod, plays Limp Bizkit, fucking plays new metal, and then walks out of the room.
It's so good. I believe there's a part of the demo where a guy's trying to monologue and he just says like "screw you" and they just start to fight like, before he gets to finish the monologue. It's beautiful.
The way the main characters meet is they bump into each other and it's just like, "Hey, do you got a crystal?" And he's like, "Yeah, me too."
Wanna go kill Chaos?
It's like, all I know is I gotta go kill Chaos. And they're like, "Us too. That's all we know we got supposed to do either."
And they all fist bump and it's the end of the cutscene. It's so good.
I mean, that's literally how Final Fantasy 1 happened, but it was a lot more ambiguous in Final Fantasy 1.
One just starts with your characters, right? Like, the characters aren't really fleshed out at 1. You just assume they met. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that is the plot of 1, is that 4 people bumped into each other. They all had crystals, and they all decided they'd go along with each other because they all had the crystals. You know? And then they went to save the world.
That's how a lot of fantasy stories open, to be honest.
Yeah. Of course, like, the whole point of 1 is that the characters are blank slates. They're just supposed to just project whatever you want onto them. Supposed to role play, make up your own party. It's supposed to be like you're playing a D&D campaign where the game is the dungeon master, and then you are all the players simultaneously.
Yeah, come up with the story yourself.
Yeah. That's like the whole point.
Yeah,
early NES RPGs like that.
Which, honestly, it would be cool if more modern RPGs kind of played with that idea a bit, but also at the same time, I'm fine with you just fleshing out and making the character Jack.
I mean, like, yeah, no, I honestly prefer the style of, like, you actually make the fucking character and do that. It's why the best RPG, in current day is like Elden Ring and Dark Souls, because they actually have RPG mechanics and elements built into their game.
JRPGs, actually, where you can, the character isn't where like you have like a silent protagonist or anything. That's pretty rare in JRPGs.
I wouldn't say silent protagonists, but like fully customizable party, complete.
Yeah, probably.
Because like the only ones that do that are like Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy 3, and like Dragon Quest 9, I want to say. At least off the top of my head.
I think most of the early Dragon Quests, you could customize your party pretty heavily.
That's true.
Yeah.
But Dragon Quest 9 like goes all in, like every single character is a custom made character with no backstory at all. Except for the main one. But all their backstory is they're an angel.
I enjoy doing that with like some Western RPGs I've tried to play, like Pillars of Eternity. I like just like starting up the game and making the characters, but then I get bored of the game. But making the characters and backstories is fun.
Yeah. Well, a lot of Western RPGs do that because they actually realize that's the fun part of the RPG is the role playing, so they emphasize on that. The problem is they forget to make the rest of the game fun too. Yeah.
Fair.
It's like
there's plenty of Western RPGs I do love.
And that's why Elden Ring is so much better than Skyrim, because they made sure to make the gameplay fun.
Skyrim's gameplay is not great, but there's something to be said about it just being RPG that you walk around in.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad, but I wouldn't call it, like, fantastic either.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. But Strangers of Paradise, you know, it's like full-on actual action RPG, like, you know, Dark Souls. But, you know, it's... In reality, it's like Neo.
Yeah.
Neo with an H.
Yeah. I've heard they cleaned up the combat a bit since the last demo, too, so that's nice to hear.
Yeah.
Like, it plays a lot better.
Yeah. Although, kind of from what I've heard, it just seems kind of like a watered-down, clunkier Neo.
I didn't play Neo aside from the, like, original, like, beta test demo. If I remember, wasn't Neo just kind of Dark Souls with some flashiness?
It's more like Bloodborne, but a little faster than that.
Yeah.
With more style swapping.
Yeah, and Strangers of Paradise has like job stuff too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got that.
Yeah. I don't know. Once again, I haven't tried the demo, so this is just me repeating what I've heard other people say of their impressions.
I kind of almost might end up playing this game. I'm like really on like it's a coin flip. I might play this game and adore it, or I won't buy it at all.
I'm enjoying it for the memes. I just don't know if I want to actually bother to play it.
It looks like a very comfortable, generic JRPG in a way that's kind of rare.
To be honest, though, I think a big part of that is just simply that if I wanted to experience Final Fantasy 1 again, I just replay Final Fantasy 1. They literally just did a remake of Final Fantasy 1 and released it for like $20. You know?
Yeah.
It's like so the fact that we're getting 2 back-to-back remakes of Final Fantasy 1
calling this a remake feels weird to me. I think
it's retelling the story.
I guess
it's rewriting it a little bit.
You could have always imagined you were playing as Jack the whole time.
Very true. But like another thing is they spoiled the game in one of the trailers when they revealed that like Jack is Garland.
Yeah.
And Garland is Chaos.
I'm willing to bet this game actually has more twists than the original, if I'm going to be honest. Like,
I mean,
if they're already showing that, there's probably more wacky stuff going on.
I mean, like, the original already had twists in it, because Garland is the first boss of the game, and then he comes back as the final boss.
Well, we need new twists, because everyone's already played that 30 years ago.
I mean, Final Fantasy 1's plot is really funny, because it's like a weird time loop plot.
Yeah.
Where the heroes who are prophesized to save the world are only prophesized to save the world because they went back in time and saved the world.
Huh.
So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy because it's a closed time loop.
Interesting. It's a weirdly ambitious story for NES.
Yeah. Because how the story is that the 4 fiends send Garland back in time, but then Garland sends the same 4 fiends forward in time so that they can send him back in time.
Huh.
Yeah. And then you go back in time and kill the 4 fiends again, and then you kill Garland again after he transforms into Chaos.
I think I'm going to need a chart to explain this to me.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 1 is okay. Although, honestly, just play 3, because 3 is just Final Fantasy 1 but better.
Those Don't some of the ports fix one's like weird combat issues though too?
I mean, I don't think 1 has that many weird combat issues. The biggest problem is just that, like, in the original, like, NES version, there's just no, like, Phoenix Downs or revives.
Honestly, the missing if you kill an attack and your party doesn't automatically go to the next enemy sounds really, really annoying for random enemies, though.
Yeah. I mean, most of the ports, you know, make the game easier by adding, you know, revive spells and golden needles and stuff. Because golden needles weren't in the original Final Fantasy 1, so if your teammate got petrified, you were just fucked. You just had to go back to the church and leave the dungeon.
Ah, sounds annoying.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess it's better in permadeath.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything else saying Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin?
Yeah. But that's also one of the reasons why I just recommend 3 over 1. Because 3 had all that stuff from the get-go.
Yeah. I've already played Bravely Default.
Well, if you want, like, the OG Final Fantasy experience, you can just play 3.
True. Okay, yeah.
I'm just saying, you know, just because 3 is more or less just a successor to 1 on the same system.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like 1 but better.
Yeah. Yeah, for the most part it is. It's similar plot to begin with, too. You're fighting a thing.
Yeah, well, the plots are different, but the plots are the same in the sense that it's just save the 4 crystals.
Yeah. Yeah.
The villain motivations are different, though.
Aren't you fighting a cloud in 3?
That's the final boss. But it's the Cloud of Darkness. The other main villain in 3 is, he's like a wizard dude who was an apprentice to this other super wizard dude. When the super wizard dude dying, he gave his 3 apprentices, like, these magical gifts. He gave one the power of, like, ultra mega magic. He gave the other one the power of dreams. And then he gave the 3rd apprentice dude, who's the main villain, the power of mortality.
That's the lamest power.
Because keep in mind, all 3 of the apprentices were immortal.
That's bullshit.
So obviously, the guy who got the mortality power, it was just like, what the fuck, you asshole? And so he vowed revenge on the world and whatnot because of that. So yes, the plot of Final Fantasy IX was inspired by Final Fantasy III. That's why in Final Fantasy IX, the final boss gets sidetracked by a new random bullshit god boss. Because they did the same thing in 3. So they redid that in 9 as well.
I can take a random god boss, but, you know, you gotta do it right. I'm trying to think of examples where it's actually good.
In 3 is okay. It's definitely better handled in 3 than it is in 9.
Yeah. Yeah, 9 it just comes out of nowhere, right?
Yeah. In 9 it's like... It like sidelines, you know, the actual main antagonist.
That in 3's plot's a lot lighter, so I assume you're not. It's like in 9, like, you know, there's build up for the protagonist for like 50 hours, I assume.
Yeah. Like... yeah, and in like 3, it's like at least like there's a bit more build up. Like after you beat the mage guy, like the Cloud of Darkness shows up and is like, now I'm gonna fuck the world or whatever. And then you lose to it. And then all the friends you made along the way come to your journey and, like, you get revived. And then you enter, like, the realm of darkness, like the dark world. And then you restore the dark crystals. And you get the powers of the warriors of darkness because you're the warriors of light. And so the warriors of darkness then help you defeat the Cloud of Darkness from destroying the light world. Because 1,000 years ago, the warriors of darkness stopped the dark world from being destroyed by like a cloud of light. And so now they're helping you stop the Cloud of Darkness because the whole point of both the Warriors of Light and the Warriors of Darkness is to like maintain balance between the two, you know, to make sure that shit doesn't get fucked. So it's really cool. Of course, keep in mind, in the original NES version, the Cloud of Darkness is a terrible final boss fight because they only have one attack.
What?
It's a single big damage AoE attack
Okay.
that does like 1,000 to 1,500 damage to like each of your party members. So the only way to beat the Cloud of Darkness in the NES original is to just heal,
Yeah.
out heal the
That's-
boss, and just spam your highest DPS attack.
That's the curse of any high difficulty turn-based JRPG.
Yeah.
Like if you hit a point, that is going to end up being the ultimate strategy.
Yeah. The DS remake fixes that though by giving the Cloud of Darkness more than one attack.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Strangers of Paradise looks like a cool game.
I don't know how I got on Final Fantasy 3.
We were talking about 1.
That's true.
I get it.
Yeah.
Do we want to move on to Forspoken?
Yeah, Strangers of Paradise looks funny.
It does. It looks hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, we can talk about Forspoken.
Yeah. This trailer. I'm like on the fence about this game because this trailer made the combat and movement look really fun.
Yeah. I mean, like I've said this before when we talked about it before. I think the movement looks really good, but I'm not really sure on the combat.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine if it's just like plays just like a third-person shooter, just with some fancy movement.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, that's fine.
I suppose.
But yeah, it looks flashy and fun.
I don't know. The music in the trailer was weirding me out. It just felt so unfitting.
I wish I could divorce it from a lot of the stuff, like the writing and direction.
Yeah, because I mean, I kind of get why they picked the music because it's like an isekai.
Yeah,
but it's like it just feels weird.
So is Strangers of Paradise, but that game is awesome.
Well, Strangers of Paradise is like funny at every millisecond, so it's like I can forgive it for being bad writing because at least it's really funny bad writing.
Yeah.
Like Forspoken's plot is just isekai, generic isekai shit, you know?
Yeah, just generic. It feels like Square Enix trying way too hard to appeal to Western markets again. They're doing that thing.
Yeah.
When Stranger of Paradise is probably more appealing. But yeah, we talked about it before. But yeah, this trailer, the movement looked really fun. I like the way you like flip around and stuff. This is another one where I really want to play a demo of it, just to feel how it plays. But they don't.
I mean, I guess. I feel like
demos.
you can say that about every game.
You could, but this is one where the gameplay is the only thing looking appealing to me about this. So I really want to actually see if that's any good. Because if it's not, then this game doesn't have much to offer.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, I guess aside from the PS5 particle effects, whoa.
I don't know. I just don't really trust the Lumiose engine because it hasn't made a good game yet.
What did the Lumiose engine? What was made in that already?
Final Fantasy 15, and I'm pretty sure that's about it. So I don't trust that engine. I don't think it can make good games.
15 looks really pretty. That's
honestly, it kind of really doesn't.
Really? You don't think so? I think that
like if you zoom in on specific little details, you'd be like, "Wow, that's amazing!" But then the average shot looks like shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't help that a good chunk of the game was like bought from random asset stores and just thrown haphazardly together without any thought or reason.
Yeah, 15 is weird. Does the occasional like landmark that's like really impressive, and then it's just kind of generic planes. It's really strange.
Yeah.
But we've talked about Forspoken before. Same opinions we'll say as before.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure the combat in Forspoken will be better than Final Fantasy 15's, but that's like the lowest possible bar to get over, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you can make a lower bar than Final Fantasy 15's combat.
You can. 15 had one or two high points. I've played worse,
Nah.
like hack and slashes and stuff. Like
Sonic
there was, like,
Adventure has better combat than Final Fantasy 15.
Sonic Adventure combat's awesome. You just smash the circle button with fun timing.
Yeah, and that's still better than Final Fantasy 15's, which is hold the circle button.
Oh yeah, exactly. But there's one or two bosses that feel really good in that game. And if they could have figured out why those bosses were fun and just sprinkled that throughout the game, it could have been really good.
Well, you see,
then
it
you get
doesn't
to, like-
matter if those two bosses were good enough because I dropped the game in like an hour.
Wonder how much it's changed, because did they like half like rework the combat system in some updates?
I mean,
Like,
keep in mind, I played it like at least 2 years after it came out, so
I played it closer to launch. Like I played it
by the
probably
time
like a few months after
it was out, it was already changed a lot. So
Yeah,
clearly didn't it work?
I should go back to that someday.
I don't think it's worth the time.
Yeah. Well, let's
I don't know.
hope for
Square
16.
Enix is so hit or miss these days, and I feel like it's very easy to tell depending on how much budget it was given. Because if it's like, if it was given a very small budget, it's probably going to be pretty good. If it was given a very large budget, it'll probably be really bad.
Yeah.
You know?
Then there's their Western studios, which I think are complete hit. Like, I have no clue how those will turn out. Like, depending on their budget, because like, oh, they've funded the Deus Ex game, like Human Revolution games, and those are great. Then there was like the Tomb Raider reboots, and those were bizarre. Square Enix is a weird studio.
Yeah.
They just need to. They're doing some things right though, like Strangers of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. So we can all look forward to that.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the next game then?
Yes.
Gundam Evolution,
also known as Overwatch, starring Gundams.
Yeah. This is like this is literally just like, a team-based multiplayer shooter.
It's impressively gratuitously using Overwatch's HUD though. Like with the ultimate circle at the bottom and the cooldown abilities on the right. It's kind of impressive.
Yeah.
I thought Overwatch ripped stuff off.
You know what? You know what would make me more interested in this game? If it was a Gundam versus Transformers crossover multiplayer shooter.
Is Gundam not enough intellectual property for you?
Nah, get Transformers in there, it'll be really funny.
That would be pretty awesome. I want to watch this game. I want to see how hard it destroys Overwatch 2 in Japan.
I hope it does.
It will. It really is just Overwatch of Gundams. Like, looking at this, like, wow.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've been wanting to get into Gundam. I just never get around to it.
Yeah.
I've had the 70s show like ready to watch. I haven't watched it. I don't know. I'm flying around. Mech games are always cool.
Yeah.
And any sort of like shooter of cool movement is always fun. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was another one of those games that just was like kind of whatever to me.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I mean, I guess it looks fine, but I sure don't care.
Yeah, mostly same. Our next game was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Cowabungas collection. Get a slice of the action.
Yeah.
Pizza puns. Oh yeah.
This was a collection of a handful of like the TMNT beat 'em ups. It's not every single Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game though, so you gotta keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's like the NES and the SNES games at least, right?
Most
like
of the
Game Boy
good
game.
The ones that people care about,
It had Turtles in Time. That's all people care about, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Those games are only really notable for me for their kind of amazing soundtracks. Other than that, I'm not really interested in playing them.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as much as the next guy, so.
Were they on 4Kids? I think I watched them on that. Was that the channel they were?
Yeah.
The one thing?
I mean,
because I watched them like
throughout
once
the
or
years,
twice.
they've been on like
Everything.
dozens of channels, so they've been.
Like, I watched them like once or twice on a morning. Like,
I mean, I grew up with like the TMNT series specifically, which was the 2000s one that was a bit edgier.
Yeah, that's the one I talk about that I thought.
Edgy. Yeah.
Like, I didn't watch like the 90s one or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. I say edgier, but it wasn't like that edgy, you know.
I mean, the comics were edgier, weren't they? They have like gore.
The comics were edgier, yeah. Yeah. If I had to like, for anyone who's like unfamiliar with that specific series, if I had to compare it to, I'd probably compare it to the Justice League series that was around
like
at a similar time.
What's that called? Justice League
Unlimited?
Unlimited?
Was it?
Yeah, Unlimited.
That one.
Yeah, the DC animated universe one.
Yeah. I'd say it's similar in tone to that, probably.
Yeah,
it's hard to judge because I've watched both of those, but it's been so long since I've seen them, so it's like
it's lighter than Batman the Animated Series, but darker than the average cartoon. I think that's where you'd place it.
Yeah. I've only watched the pilot of the newest show, The Rise. That one was really good, though. The pilot,
animation's very nice.
It was crazy good. I should actually bother to watch the rest of it, maybe.
Trigger assisted, so it's got to be good.
Yeah. This is a cool collection, though, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. I like this stuff being available,
Yeah.
It's annoying when they're, like, either only available, like, from ROMs or, like, some, like, crappy release, like, years ago. Having them all, like, in one big collection is really nice.
Yeah.
Especially if this is just, like, cheap. Like, $20 or less, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Like,
you can catch up before the new one comes out.
Oh, yeah, there was a new beat 'em up coming out, wasn't there? I forgot about that one. Cool.
You want to move on to the next game?
Yeah. This is a short trailer, this next one.
Yeah. It was a kaiju fighting game.
Yeah. One of those, like, top-down, like, fighting games, so...
Yeah. It reminded me of this one It was either, like, PS1 or PS2. I think it was a PS2 game. And it might have just straight up been, like, Rampage, but for the PS2.
Yeah, there was a Rampage game on PS2.
Okay,
yeah.
That's probably what I'm thinking of then. Because it's one of those games where I've only ever seen it, like, once at, like, a friend's house one time, you know?
I think that's everyone's experience with Rampage. Unless you're familiar with, like, the arcade game.
Yeah.
It was, like, 30 years ago, so no one is. But, those, like, top-down fighting games, especially I think of, like, the Skylanders Versus mode. This, like, feels like it would be, like, a novelty, like, I don't think I could spend a lot of time with this, because I don't see, like, the combat being that complex.
I mean, like, I know people who really like these styles of games, the kaiju fighters.
Yeah.
Where it's not just about beating up the other monster you're playing against. It's also about destroying the city and gobbling up people to become more powerful and then punch them in the face.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
There's some fun Godzilla games out there.
Oh, that reminds me. You know, they've made a lot of, like, Attack on Titan games, but they haven't made one where you play as the Titans, have they?
I don't think they have. You know, maybe there was, like, a mode, like one of the multiplayer modes or something crazy, who knows?
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, you probably do play as the Titans a bit, because Attack on Titan slowly turns into a mecha. I forgot.
It's true.
It's secretly a mecha. So you probably do play as a Titan in, like, some of the later games.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird, because, like, you never know what you're getting with the Attack on Titan games.
Yeah, there's a lot of those, aren't there?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big IP.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that would happen if, you know, Attack on Titan was around during the PS2 days, you know?
Yeah, or it would just be a game entirely about that.
Yeah, you only play as the Titans and you just eat people.
Yeah, there was a ton of games like that, like Rampage, Those Hulk games, like just like chaos open world simulator games.
Yeah.
Because GTA 3. Yeah. I don't see myself liking this combat though. Like like it's kind of thing that'd be enjoyable, but I couldn't spend more than a few hours of just like a top down beat 'em up versus game.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Because I'm like, that's interesting, but I sure don't care.
See, like if this was actually like a Godzilla IP game, it was like super fan servicey, I'd be more interested.
Yeah, but since it's like its own IP,
I feel bad about that because you usually want to encourage original IPs, but this is the kind of game that with a lot of fighters kind of thrive on being a IP, unless it's like something like really creative and original, like I don't know, Skullgirls or something.
Yeah. Although part of me also, like, whenever I see a kaiju fighter nowadays, I'm immediately think of that one Kickstarter campaign for that kaiju fighter that like never happened.
I don't remember that one. That sounds familiar.
I don't really remember it either. I just remembered that there was a Kickstarter campaign for like a kaiju fighter indie game that just never came out. And there was like a lot of controversy surrounding it for some reason, but I don't remember what the controversy was.
I kind of ignore a lot of those controversial Kickstarter stuff because that's kind of inevitable with the crowdfunding
thing. I mean, I've only heard this story through like
like
secondhand, more or less.
Yeah.
And all I remember from what I've heard about it is like it was something to do with high tier rewards and like people putting their own monsters and whatnot. That problem.
Yeah, that could get messy.
Yeah. But I don't really know anything about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But whenever I see a kaiju fighter, I just immediately think of that.
This will be better than the Godzilla PS4 game, which I heard was really bad.
I can believe that. Do you want to move on to the next game?
Yeah, sure. That's what I'm kind of interested in. I've wanted to play this.
Yeah. It's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R. So it's like a remaster of this specific JoJo fighting game, which is a good amount of.
This is the one that was on PS3.
Okay.
There's the JoJo fighting games are the PlayStation 1 Dreamcast arcade one, which is just all part 3, and it's done by Capcom. That one's really good.
Yeah.
And All-Star Battle was PS3 era, and All-Star Battle's good. I'm really glad it's getting ported because this was only on PS3 for the longest time, so it was annoying.
Right. I know you had like the PS4 one, right?
Yeah, the PS4 one's 3D. It's their plug-in like Shonen Jump thing, like like the Jump Force combat. It's like it's fine. It's not really like a real fighting game. It's just kind of something you play for like the fan service.
Right.
But this is actually like a real fighting game, like just 2D, like with 3D graphics. Like
that's cool.
Yeah, I wanted to play this.
I also know that they're like redoing a lot of the voice work for it with like the current voice cast.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, not a lot of the voice actors have changed since the anime. Like they kept a lot, but some have changed. I know Pucci is a different voice actor now, so yeah, I assume they're redoing him.
Right.
I think like Giorno's the same and stuff. Like they kept him since the games.
Right.
But yeah. I wonder if they're adding any new characters that we're missing in there because Part 8's done now, so we might get more like Part 8 characters and stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised to see some more characters.
Yeah, there's already 50 apparently.
Yeah,
it's insane. And I remember the PS4 one I played also was missing like a lot of like weird characters. Like they had the stupid guy with the bugs and spiky head, who's also in this game.
Right.
He was in there, but they were like missing like main characters and stuff. Like Foo Fighters wasn't in there. So I hope they're in this one.
Is there the guy in Part 3 that turns you into a baby in this one?
Probably not. No, but he was in the PlayStation 1 fighting game, and he had an animation for every single character in the game to turn him into a baby. The best one is with Joseph Joestar. I turned him into young Joseph Joestar, who has a completely new moveset. But yeah, this will be fun. JoJo's always fun. I'm really glad it's getting ported because there was no way to play it, and I'm curious what additions there will be.
Yeah, this was one of the cooler announcements.
I honestly think it's kind of ugly, though. Like, it's accurate and all that, but translated notes to 3D does not look nice.
I feel like it would be really hard to have an actual 2D fighter with the JoJo art style, though,
Well, that is the PS1 game is 2D.
That's true, but
that's Capcom's like pixel art golden age.
Yeah.
Like that's like ridiculously high budget. Like that's
I meant that
kind of
more
stuff.
like with
the anime is like actual like full
like a 2D style
trauma.
in the sense that like Hollow Knight or like the newer Shantae games are,
Yeah, that kind of thing would be like next to impossible, probably, especially for a roster this big.
Yeah,
Like,
I think it would be doable, but it would be like it wouldn't be easy,
Yeah, and they've used all these models for other games too, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for this roster, I'm fine with any art style because
I mean, I'm sure if they were making it from scratch or whatnot, it could look a lot better. But it is just a remaster of the PS3 one, so
yeah,
it's only going to look so good.
Yeah. Then it looks fine. It'll also probably look better with some of the alternate costumes because some of the colors they picked are drab. Gotta pick the colors where they're like neon green.
Yeah.
Which they have. But yeah, and in early fall, I'm excited to play this. I'll probably be picking this up on PS4.
Yeah. Do you want to move on to the next game?
Yeah. Which is probably the most interesting of like a new announcement, actually.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah.
This is the one I was most interested in, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's Trek to Yomi?
Or Yomi, I think,
Yomi,
right?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, just Trek to Yomi.
Yes.
It's Ghost of Tsushima, but what that wanted to do, but better.
Yeah. It kind of is. It's sort of is Ghost of Tsushima, but like a side scroller.
Yeah, and I love me those cinematic side scrollers occasionally when I'm in a mood.
Yeah.
This combat looks really cool, like the sword fighting, like looks, like that really like tense, like like a single blow kind of decides to fight, like all that. That looks really cool.
Yeah.
The presentation is gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks pretty interesting. It also doesn't look super long, so I think that's a good thing.
That's what I'm gonna assume. Like, yeah, these kind of like cinematic platformer things. Like, I'm kind of comparing this to like Limbo and Inside in my head.
Yeah,
because those are also
like it should be the length of a Kurosawa film.
Yeah, like 3 hours.
Yeah, just long enough that you can't refund it on Steam.
Perfect length.
Yeah. It is getting published by Devolver Digital, so
they usually have a good track record.
Yeah. So I think it'll be pretty good for what it is.
Oh, yeah. Just, man, a good action game you could beat in one sitting. That'd be beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not much to say about it. It's just trying to be sort of a classic samurai film kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it looks cool and fun.
Yeah, it looks pretty good, all things considered, for what it's going for. Do you want to talk about the next game?
Sure.
So it's a big update for Returnal. Adding an infinite endless mode, more or less.
Yeah. Possibly endless. There might be some sort of goal.
She said it was infinite in the trailer. So I'm assuming it's an endless roguelike mode,
Yeah.
Considering the game is already a roguelike.
True. Well, yeah. Well, that and it's also co-op.
Yes. Too. They also added co-op.
I haven't played Returnal. That's only on PS5, right? It's not on PS4.
Yeah, it's only PS5.
Oh my gosh, it's the PS5's only game.
That and Ratchet and Clank.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Returnal looks cool.
Now I think about it, both Ratchet and Returnal are pretty similar.
Yeah, they're both like third-person shooters, aren't they? Huh?
Yeah, with a high emphasis on movement.
They look nice. Returnal looks really cool.
With just, silly guns. I haven't really played Returnal yet. It does look pretty decent, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. That name is just driving me away from the game, to be honest.
What's so bad about Returnal? It's a bad pun. It's fun.
It's a bad pun.
It's eternal, and you return because you replay the game. Oh, that's great. But, yeah, I don't know. I haven't played it. I can't talk about it. It's been out for a while now, right?
Yeah.
Like, this says update 3.0. I didn't know there was an update 2.0.
I suppose there was. We don't have to talk about 2 months. Do you want to just move on to the next game?
Sure.
The last 2 games are pretty meaty.
If you say so.
I mean, like, yeah. Anyway, so the last 2 games are both Square games.
Yep.
The first one is the Diofield Chronicle.
Yeah, I guess that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Or how it's pronounced. Combat looks mildly interesting. It looks kind of like a cross between like a tactics and like RTS kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like turn-based strategy, but with real-time elements.
It's almost like CRPG combat, like something like the Baldur's Gate or like Pillars of Eternity thing, where it's like almost like you kind of control it, like you pause and like kind of plan stuff out, it looks like.
Well, like I said, it's turn-based, but with real-time elements. You take your turn, you direct your guys where they want to go, and then they move and attack in real time.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, it's kind of like, ATB, where it's still turn-based, but you have to wait in real time before your turn to come up,
Yeah.
But obviously not the same way. It's more like you take your turn, but then you have to wait for your guys to walk over there,
Yeah.
Besides that, it's triangle strategy, but in 3D.
Yeah. It is very triangle strategy. Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah, and also Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Yeah, anime war game.
Yeah. It's just funny because, like, I'm pretty sure triangle strategy also had like the 3 like kingdoms or houses plot, right? Where it's 3 warring kingdoms or whatnot.
Yeah, although this game, it looks like you're actually playing just as one of the kingdoms.
Right.
The other games was like a story about like, I think like, like 3 houses and all that. It's like you have, like you get to choose your allegiance.
Yeah, but you pick, when the difference is like you picked one of those and then you just stuck with them, and then you could, you could pick a different one on a replay playthrough. This one, you obviously stuck with the team you already got, probably.
Yeah,
but it's still funny because it's like the 3, nations, and it's like one's an empire, one's an alliance, and one's a kingdom.
Why is this like a weird thing?
Which, I guess this is a cliche. Which is also the same as Fire Emblem 3 Houses, because one was an empire, one was a kingdom, and one was an alliance.
Fundamentally, those are all the same thing.
No, they're different. One has an emperor, one has a king, and then one has a council.
Emperors and kings are the same thing.
Yeah, but the alliance is different. Alliance is made out of multiple, noble houses or whatnot.
It's still all feudalism. They're all lame. Get
all
out of here.
Feudalism, but yeah.
I can't agree with any of those people ideologically, no matter how anime they are. But this combat looks kind of neat, but at the same time, this story looks so... There's like you said, there's 3 other games that have done like the same story.
Yeah, it's just weird because it's like in so recently, especially with Triangle Strategy specifically, especially since Triangle Strategy is also being, was also made by Square Enix.
Yeah.
And just came out. And so Triangle Strategy releases, and then they announce a new tactical RPG with like the same plot. but with a less stupid name, but a more generic name at the same time.
Yeah.
But we won't get a Final Fantasy Tactics. We can't have that.
No, it's not allowed.
Yeah, we can't give you what you asked for. We're just going to give you stuff similar to what you asked for.
The Tactics have like a specific like writer or director attached to it or something, and that's like why they won't do it.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm curious about that.
I don't know if it's the same as like the guy who did Tactics Advanced. Because those aren't that similar. I don't remember which one was it, but one of the Advanced games was an isekai. That was the one I played.
Huh. Tactics is weird.
Yeah.
And I can't play.
But it was the cool kind of isekai where the main character gets transported to the magical world and then immediately adjusts like 20 minutes later. It's like, I guess I'm just here now. Whatevs.
That's refreshing.
Yeah. And like it's basically completely forgotten after like the first 2 hours that the main character is from another world.
Just yeah. They kept that like don't even like bring that up again till the end.
Yeah.
Like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, that's an isekai where they don't bring it up at the end, and then when they bring it up at the end, it's really sad because your main character goes back to the real world. It's like, no!
Yeah.
That's the end of the game. Those games are mean.
The new Pokemon Legend Arceus is also an isekai.
Yeah, they hit that pretty well until release.
Yeah. God literally sends you back in time for no reason. Yeah. Oh my god, I just realized that that Pokemon game is just that one isekai where the main character has a smartphone, and that's the plot of the isekai, but with Pokemon.
In a magical world of my smartphone, I think it's called.
Yeah!
Which feels like a very limited concept. I haven't watched the anime, but I feel like that's like 5 episodes max in the smartphone thing. I think everyone in the fantasy world would get used to it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, you could like look at images, but you're like, what? You can't use Google on that thing.
Yeah. I remember there was like a small plot point in like ReZero where
he sold his phone.
Yeah, he sold his phone.
It's because it's just, but all it does is just a camera at that point.
Yeah.
That battery's gonna die in a day, man. He's
But that's why he pawned it off, because he was just like, hey, it's a magic artifact. It takes pictures. And they're like, okay, sure.
But I'm already tired of the anime characters in a war trope. Like, that was Fire Emblem's thing, and now Triangle Strategy's done it, and now this other game's doing it, and it's like, I'm done. I've had enough
of... animes can't go to war?
No. I've had enough of it. It's too goofy seeing anime girls fighting with tanks.
Not
tanks,
tanks
they're using big
game.
Horses.
Yeah, this game has horses, not tanks.
Yeah.
The cavalry units.
Exactly, yeah.
I wonder if they're gonna have elephant units.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
See, that's the stuff you show off in the trailer, get me interested.
Yeah, the giant war elephants.
Yeah, war elephants are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Want to talk about the final game?
I guess we can talk about the final game.
Yeah.
You want to say it?
Valkyrie, Elysium.
Elysium.
Gonna see if I can try to remember it. Yeah, it looks like an RPG hack and slash game.
It's a new Valkyrie profile game.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's part of the same series. They just changed the subtitle name because the gameplay got swapped up a little bit.
Yeah, because the Valkyrie profile gameplay before was like, it's the same as like Indivisibles gameplay, where each character is like tied to a button.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah. Yeah, this is completely different. It's just like a hack and slash.
Yeah, this is just an action RPG.
Which,
Get it right.
looks...
It's not hack and slash. It's an action
Oh,
RPG. It's got RPG elements. It's not a Muso game.
Well, people call Diablo a hack and slash, and that has RPG elements.
Well, they're wrong. Diablo is not a hack and slash. It's a dungeon crawling RPG. I think that coined the term
before the Muso games came out, though.
People have been called like Golden Axe a hack and slash. You know.
See, I call Golden Axe and beat 'em up.
Well, here's the thing. Before the genre was separated between whether your main character had a sword or not. You know.
Yeah.
You're just using outdated honorifics.
But this looks like a generic RPG thing.
Yeah, but you play as a cute anime girl.
Yeah, she looks cool. What's with the ending where it's trying to tease you of some character? I don't know who this person is.
That sexy, evil anime girl.
I'm gonna imagine she's the same character from Forspoken. That's what I want to imagine in my head. That's the funniest outcome to me.
I don't know. But, she looked like the evil, sexy anime girl from Hyrule Warriors.
Oh, yeah.
The first one, remember?
Yeah, that lady. That's half of Lana or something?
Something like that. I don't know.
Lana's the only character I played in Hyrule Warriors. She was awesome. She had a big book with swords in it.
Of course, you played Hyrule Warriors and played the one original character.
Yep, yeah, I sure did. Hey, this is before they added like Skull Kid or anything cool.
Yeah, like Tingle.
I played a Wii U version.
Yeah, you had to settle for Agatha.
Ugh. But this looks like a game where you're a Valkyrie and hit things.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Whenever I think of like the Valkyrie profile games, I also like I for some reason I like kind of get them mixed up with the Valkyrian Chronicle games, despite the fact that they are very different and not alike at all, just because they have somewhat similar names.
I've accidentally called one or the other the wrong thing before. Like, yeah. I get their names mixed up in my head, but I can tell the games apart. Like,
well, yes, obviously that's what I meant.
Yeah.
I get the names mixed up sometimes.
One of them is World War I anime girls.
Yes. The other one is North anime girls.
Okay.
Yeah, they're Valkyries.
Is it a Norse thing?
Yes, it's a Norse thing.
I just see Valkyries as that one Final Fantasy job. That jumps a lot.
Well, that's Dragoons.
Oh, yeah. Why am I getting confused with Valkyries?
I think because Bravely Default called them Valkyries, despite the fact that they were Dragoons.
Okay, yeah, they both use spears and stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Remember, like, Bravely Default just renamed Dragoons Valkyries.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they also renamed Blue Mages Vampires and then Necromancers.
Yeah.
No, wait. I don't think they called it Necromancer because that would have been too good. If they called it something dumb.
I think it was Catmancer or something dumb.
Yeah,
like that.
they said Catmancer instead of Necromancer because that would have been too clever.
I'm sure it was Necromancer in the Japanese version.
It probably was.
They wouldn't call it Catmancer in the Japanese version. That wouldn't make sense. But no, it's funny because Bravely Default 2 just brought back Dragoons wholesale.
No, Bravely Default 2 did?
Yeah.
I still gotta play that. Is that game $60? That's still, was that $60 on release? And
yeah, but it got ported to Steam.
Oh!
So you can play the Steam version.
That's a game I'd probably play more on Switch, though.
Yeah.
Bravely Default, like, portable.
It's not like it looks that much better on the Steam version.
That's the kind of game where I want to have it portably so I can mindlessly grind while doing something else.
Bravely Default 2 was so good.
Yeah. This feels like a Wii RPG.
Yeah.
This Valkyrie Elysium. You know those Wii RPGs, like The Last Story and stuff?
Yeah.
That's what this looks like. If it's like muted color scheme and
Yeah, it kind of reminded me a little bit of what was that game? No, was it Sega or Square?
which game?
It was the action RPG that just got announced like a while ago for the longtime series that was dormant. It's the space fantasy one.
Oh, Star Ocean?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. I think that's Square? I can't remember.
I can't.
Yeah,
every RPG is like either Square, Sega, or NX.
And then there's the occasional Atlas one.
Atlas.
That's
when I said NX, I meant Atlas. Despite because Square and NX are the same now.
Yeah.
There's no Legend of Dragoon in the state of play. So that was pretty disappointing.
What is Legend of Dragoon again?
It's that one PS1 RPG.
There's a lot of that one PS1 RPG. That's a whole genre of games. Just called that one PS1 JRPG.
Yeah.
Anything that isn't Final Fantasy VII fits there.
Yeah, like Xenogears.
Xenogears, Parasite Eve, this series that we were just talking about.
Yeah, Valkyria Profile.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm saying the name wrong every time, but I don't really care.
Yeah. I think it's Valkyrie Profile because it was Valkyria Chronicles.
That's why I keep messing it up. Because the two, despite the fact that I know it's pronounced Valkyrie, it just like because of Valkyrian Chronicles, I feel like I shouldn't be saying it that, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I made the same mistake. But is that all the state of play?
Yeah, that was it. How do you think it was?
It was as awkward as usual.
Yeah.
Not like in like a cringe awkward way, like an Ubisoft show, just kind of like in none of these games particularly look that exciting.
Yeah. And I don't even think like any of them looked particularly bad either.
No, not at all.
I said, I was like, that's interesting, but I sure don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, I don't really think I'm going to buy any of these games, to be 100% honest. There's games that piqued my interest, like the Trek to Yeoman and like the Duo Field Chronicles, maybe.
And JoJo I'll buy. But once again, that's like a port announcement. That's not like anything particularly exciting. That's
I mean,
just
like if I liked fighting games, I'd buy the JoJo game, you know.
Yeah.
But like, I don't like fighting games, so I wouldn't play it.
I get it, yeah.
Yeah, the only fighting games I'll touch really are like Smash Bros. We said Square Enix too much in this. Or like Smash Bros. And Soul Calibur.
Yeah. I bet you could get into Tekken because Soul Calibur just plays the same as Tekken.
Yeah, but the reason why I like Soul Calibur is because of the swords, so you get extra long.
They are really cool.
Yeah. Plus, it means all the characters have crazy reach. You just
That's true.
Yeah.
You can just every character in the game you could just poke with, like Nightmare. Yeah. You could play him as like as a zoner.
Yeah. Come on, I'm not good at Soul Calibur. I just enjoy it.
Yeah, you can get away with not being good at that game because some of those characters are pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I should get back into Soul Calibur. They added some fun characters to that. But yeah. Just state of play, I guess we got like one other thing, and I guess we could run down some other random little things.
Yeah. Since we've been talking a lot about Square Enix, there's other Square Enix news as well, because they released the new Chocobo GP, Chocobo racing game. I didn't play it or anything like that, but I hear it's got funky microtransactions in it.
Got a battle pass in your $50 game, and paid currencies that expire.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Square Enix wants that live service so bad.
They already have 14. What are they doing? They have 14, and it's like the most successful game on the planet.
14 is expensive. They want something cheap that can rake in 14 money.
That's never gonna happen.
Yeah. I mean, just look at what happened with Babylon's Fall. A game came out last month and nobody even realized it came out.
I think, and the people that realized it came out were the people that were angry at it.
Yes.
That game saddens me a lot because Platinum's had a good track record, and that's just silly.
I mean, like, if you go back and watch the very first trailer for it, it looks so much better than what it is today, you know?
Yeah.
So clearly at some point, Square Enix came in and was just like, okay, make this terrible. And then Platinum was just like,
okay. Chocobo GP looked like a cute game I would have bought for like $30, but $50 of microtransactions? Get out of here. I got plenty of other kart racers I can play.
Yeah. But this one plays Melodies of Life sometimes.
Okay, I can just play the old game and pull out my phone while I'm playing it. Yeah, that's all I gotta say on Chocobo Japan. Yeah. I'll run through any other gaming news that happened recently, because I got like a few other things I could just say.
There was a Kirby demo. Did you try it out?
No, I have not.
Yeah, I haven't tried it either, just because I don't really want to spoil myself.
I just haven't gotten around to it, but also like, at this point, yeah, I'm just going to wait for the game.
Yeah, because I'm just like, well, I'm just going to get it when it comes out, and I'm going to play it, and I'm going to enjoy it, and I don't really want to spoil my first-time experience with a demo. Then I'm going to have to wait 2 weeks,
from the demo is the mod that gave Kirby Dante hair when he has Sword Kirby, because the Sword Kirby just looks like Devil May Cry gameplay.
Right.
Because, yeah, you're like, not as 3D, you can like just like whip around and stuff.
Yeah.
Also, there's a slow-mo dodge now, so that's
cool.
So
it is Bayonetta.
Yeah. Which, I heard it is actually really nice for just translating Kirby gameplay to 3D. Like, just having, like, a dodge button, like, makes it just nice, because you don't want Kirby gameplay to be frustrating ever.
I mean, Kirby always had a dodge.
He did, but I never used it, ever. I
used it. If you wanted to get good at Kirby, you're gonna have to use it.
I've beat the Superstar Ultra Arena and never once used it. What else happened? They added Sadako to Dead by Daylight. She crawls out of televisions, which I thought would have been too goofy, but they did it. You have to play VHS tapes in the middle of your Dead by Daylight game.
They like force you to do it in order to complete the objective.
When you show it to other players, it like turns down your like cooldown, and like increases the other cooldown for when she can teleport like near other players. So it's like screwing your teammates, sort of, from what I've seen.
Okay.
So you kind of have to like work with like your mates, like, oh, who has like who could like sacrifice like being chased and stuff. So it looks fun.
Yeah.
And yes, we got good map pressure with that too. So she's never going to be useless because you can teleport around the map. What else? Chaos Head is finally getting an English translation coming to Switch later this year. That's the prequel to Steins Gate. Came out in like 2005 or something, and it's finally being released in English on Switch, so that's awesome. Looking forward to that. And don't know anything else this week.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I'm ready. I'm good to wrap up if you're.
Oh, Sam, yeah. I just wanted to, get any news out of the way.
Okay, cool. Thank you for watching. I am amazed you've made it to the end. Congratulations, you did it.
You win.
Yeah, you win our love and affection.
Congrats.
We love you so much. We would love you even more if you liked the video and subscribed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go do that.
And leave a comment telling us what you felt about the state of play.
Leave a comment telling us how much you want to kill Chaos.
Yes.
Nope.
Yeah.
All right.
Have a good night or day.
Good night.
Or whatever. It's always a
Good
day.
times. Farewell.
Unbelievable.